I noi tātou. Karakia timatanga. Haura mai runga, haura mai raro, haura mai roto, haura mai waho. Haura te pūtaki o tēnei kaupapa ki a pūrangi aho tātou I te wānanga me te kōrero. Tēnei te titi ake te pauhaura ki te pūtaki o tēnei wānanga. Tuturu o white whakamaua kia tēnā, tēnā. Haumie, ui, tae ki e. E mihi ane ki a tātou, tātou kua whakakotahi mai ki te kaupapa o te pū aho kōrero. Tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Tauranga moana, maua o maunga, Ngāti rangi nui, nai te rangi, Ngāti pukenga, e tau nei. He taho toku pāpā no Ngāti rangi nui, Ngāti pukenga me te arawa o ku iwi, no ngā pōtiki tuku hapu, no tauranga moana, tauranga tangata. He tahu tuku māma, no Steel-eye Whitehorn Denison and McKissick whānau. So kia ora everyone, my name is Tui Hana Oihia. I hail from the centre of the universe, Tauranga Moana and Rotorua, and I know all the other peeps on the chat will be like, no, my whenua is the centre of the universe. I am the mama of 3 beautiful sons. One lives in Anna, Melbourne, born and bred there, so of Samoan, Māori and European descent, but pretty Australian. And then I have another son living on the Gold Coast, and I've got one at home with me at the moment, but he's also about to go to Australia. So, it's going to be like, anyway, hey, it'll be a whole new world. Anyhow, really beautiful to be here today. My energy is quite up. So just pre-warning you that I often sing, I often cry. If you knew my koro, he was a huge tangiwito, beautiful, beautiful man. Always cried all the time, and I'm a bit of a sook, even when I'm delivering. So, yeah, and I'm European on my mother's side, very proud of my European roots. So that's a little bit about me, loads of experience within the wellbeing space and within the sustainable fashion space as well. But it's just really beautiful to have you all here. Now I'm going to hand it over to Michelle. I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right, Michelle? And I just want to quickly, before I totally hand the rako over to Michelle, Michelle is the backbone. She is the person that coordinates me, keeps me on time, and is really an amazing and beautiful person with a beautiful ahua both inside and out. Now, before I start getting teary, over to Michelle.
Wow, what an intro. I feel a little bit blushing, but kia ora everyone, and a huge warm welcome this morning. This is our first session for the year, and it's pretty exciting to come back. I don't know about everyone else, but it's been quite busy already into mahi, so I'm really looking forward to focusing a bit on my well-being as well and reflecting with you all. But a little bit of admin up front is our Te Puaha Talk series is really warmly supported by Foundation North. We couldn't do it without them. And one of the little data collection things we like to do is find out how many of their grantees are coming along so we can do a bit of great reporting to them. So on your screen now, hopefully you'll see a little poll. If you could vote with your mouse, that would be super. Oh yes, you're really quick today. Thanks everybody. Awesome. Thank you. And you might have seen a little bit of housekeeping in the email that came out. So we are recording today for anyone that couldn't make it. We'll pop that on the website. All of our chat remains confidential. When you go into your breakout sessions, it's totally confidential as well. So yeah, have a wonderful time and thanks for being here with us. Back to you, Tui Hana.
Thank you, Michelle. So yes, whānau, I had a bit of an internal debate with myself this morning. Do we dance or do we do ha? And in a previous life, I was a Zumba instructor. So my inclination is to dance, but I feel like a ha would be really beautiful for us to do collectively as a rōpū this morning. So I'm just going to ask us to get comfortable wherever we may be. Now, some people, ideally we want to close our eyes, but I totally appreciate and understand that not everyone's comfortable with that. So if you'd like to leave your eyes open, then please do so. But ha is this thing that we often take for granted, and ha is breath. And if you think about the word aroha, ha features in lots of kupu Māori and lots of Māori words. And actually, ha, culturally, across the world, is something that a lot of cultures practice right across, right across. And our tupuna, our ancestors, whenever we were going into spaces, we would often practice ha. And I think that it does feel like, as Michelle said, it does feel like that this year's kind of started off with a bit of a boom bang and a bang boom. And I just think, a bit of kia tau, just settling ourselves into this space today, because we're going to have lots of fun today. Okay. There's always fun in everything I pretty much do. I can see Henry standing up. And if you want to stand up, you stand up. And if you want to sit down, you can sit down. But just be comfortable wherever you are, kapai. And if you want to lie down, go ahead, lie down. But we're going to just take a moment to practice some ha. And ha also lowers our stress and anxiety, but it also just brings us into focus for today's session. Ka pai? So, Zita, lovely to see you. I'm just starting to recognize people in the chat. There's some faces in here of people that I have not seen for quite some time. So, just a whole lot of love to everyone today. So, I know when you're ready. Kia ora. I know, I saw you, Rangamari. You might want to place one of your ringa on your puku, on your pito, and you might want to place another of your manawa. It's up to you. You might want to place them in your lap. It's just entirely where you feel the most comfortable. Now, often when we do ha, we come from our upper tinana, our chest. What we want to try and be focusing on is coming from our pito kapai, coming from our whare tangata, our puku, our belly. Okay, so just when we're ready, we're just going to close our eyes. You can turn your camera off if you want to, up to you. And we're just going to breathe. Now, kei roto, breathing in. Kei waho, breathing out. And as we begin this, sometimes you'll hear quite a lot of noises like coming into your brain, like, what's this warm and fuzzy stuff? Why do I have to do that? Why am I doing this? Or things might be happening with work or with whānau, and so you get it interrupted. Your hini naro starts to get interrupted. Just always come back to that breath. We're going to be here for 2 minutes, whānau. So I just want you to take your time and give yourself the space and the gift of ha. Kei roto, breathing in. Kei waho, breathing out. And when you're ready, whānau, I'd like us to take in 3 deep breaths. He roto breathing in and really hard out 3 times. You can open your eyes and you might want to just shake it on. You do the hokey pokey and you turn around. That's what it's all about. Kia ora. All right, whānau, let's get into a bit of whakapanaingatanga. First of all, one kupu to describe how you feel after our ha. Also, your name and where you're coming in from today. So one kupu to describe how you feel after that exercise, your name and where you've come from today. Ka pai? So if you can put that in the chat, that would be super lovely. Away we go. Tanya Wihongi. Oh, I know some Wihongis. Kia ora. Free, Flex, Rodney, Taki, Wellington. What you say? Oh, kita pai. Wow, you're from all over. Sydney, wow. Ngā mihi, te ao whānau joining us from Sydney. Wow. Ooh. Christchurch. Wow. Whangamari. Got a few whānau from Tauranga today. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, te whānau e a whānau apanui. Oh, bring on te matatini. Beautiful. Sydney. Kariga land. I hope I'm saying that right. Beautiful. Lovely. Wow. We're from all across the motu today. I feel very privileged to have you all here with me today. So, nau mai haramai, welcome. Oh, tēnā koutou ko te... Oh, Waipareira, wow. Wow. Te arawa, oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Kia ora. Wow. That's an impressive introduction. Te atahia? Te atahia? If I got that right. Beautiful. Ah, love it. Got a few from Te Whānau e Whānau Apanui. Nau mai haramai. Nau mai haramai. Welcome to everyone. Beautiful session. Beautiful way to start the day. Kia ora, kia ora. Today we're in the maramataka of Tiria. When we were here in the Waikato, so I'm beaming in from Kirikiriroa. And Tiria is about being present with an open mind. And isn't that great for today's session? Just saying, I'm excited. It's also a really good day to get outside, to go easy and to be calm. So today, before I came onto this session, I thought I really need to go for a hikoi. So I went down to Waikato Awa and did a little bit of a karakia and just did a little bit of a mihi tsukuini and just did a bit of a, pure, because I thought it's a big day ahead and I want to be present for you all. So the session today, I was actually I'm a bit of a social media girl. I enjoy it. And I went onto social media today and there's a friend of ours, Che Wilson, and I thought, wow, the timing of things, because he put up a little post And he was saying that today we kind of start the transition into Ngāhuru. So, and it's, in the Maramataka, which is the Māori lunar calendar, today is that day that we start making those shifts. I thought, wow, we didn't even time that. Like that wasn't even, something that we intentionally did. Because I had a bit of an understanding that we were officially in Ngāhuru, kind of the next whenua moon, and because we've just come out of a whenua moon, and a whenua moon in the Maramataka gives us an opportunity to reflect on the month that's been and to think about the month that's ahead. So we're actually really transitioning. There's lots of transitioning happening at the moment too, because we're in the Chinese New Year, where we're transitioning from one to another. And I know quite a few people are excited about Firehorse this year. So being an Aquarian and being Year of the Pig, that's quite exciting for me personally. But it's just a really good time, I think. We couldn't have picked a better day to do this kind of mahi and to do some reflection. So I'm going to ask you all, if you haven't got pen or paper, or if you're more of a text, like more of a on your phone kind of person, then please have something in front of you. And I'm all cool with phones, because these Gen, whatever they are, X's, Y's, Z's, I get them all mixed it up. They kind of a little bit more tech savvy. So, but I just thought that, this is an opportunity to really gift ourselves time and space. And I don't think that we often do that. So I've got a script in front of me that I'm kind of following, but I tend to go a little bit off script, okay? And we may do that today. But I just want us to reflect on the season that's been Raumati. And I feel like we're still in Raumati. And actually think about the months ahead of Ngāhuru, of autumn. And we're going to start seeing at some point, changes in the trees. The trees will start to shed their leaves as we start to shed what no longer serves us, and we move into a time of Matariki, and Matariki being a time of our New Year, of the Māori New Year. Actually, it's not ours. The Greeks celebrated it, the Japanese celebrate it, and they still do to this day. So there's many cultures across the world that celebrate Matariki. But I suppose the first kind of pātai I want to put to you all, and we may actually send you into breakout rooms. I know not everyone's comfortable with that. To actually get to know one another as well, is over the past, if we're just reflecting on the past year, you might want to reflect on Raumati. Raumati is quite a good time for many of us in terms of being active, in terms of seeing whānau, and we start to come into autumn and the days are getting there's not so much light in the days. So I know for someone like me, I really have to convince myself that you still should get up and do some exercise, But one thing I really want to put to each of us is, what have we learned about nurturing our haura over the past year? Because there's this beautiful word, in te reo Māori called whakarongo. Whakarongo is to listen. But when you place ata before whakarongo, ata whakarongo, and you may have heard me in other workshops say this, and that is that ata whakarongo is to listen with all of us, to listen with our wairua, to listen with our tinana, to listen with our hēni ngaro. It's to really listen with our entire being. And our wairua, our tinana, our hēni ngaro, they will actually often give us tohu or signs about, hey, this is what's actually going on. Whether we choose to listen or not is another thing. But ata whakarongo is to really listen. So I'd like to, what have you learned about nurturing your haura over the past year? And I'm just going to share with you, I'm in a challenging phase of my life because I'm going through change, you know, and it's not the most wonderful of times, and it's particularly challenging. And there's changes that come that you were like, whoa, what is going on there? You know, in your tinana, like, hold up a minute. You know, what's happening here? And there's a natural kind of a feeling like, oh, maybe I'll just kind of start taking life a bit easy and just sit back. Oh, no, I don't feel like going to the gym. But it's actually a time in our lives where we probably should be at the gym more, you know, just. And also, this time that I'm in is often seen he whakaaro Pākehā or he whakaaro Westminster Western is that we're aging. He whakaaro Māori, he whakaaro Japanese, he whakaaro many cultures, is that actually it's a time of blooming, it's a time of blossoming. And I know that at our iwi back home, Ngāti Pūkenga, and our marae whetū Tarangi, we weren't able to karanga until we were going through this stage of our life. So, you know, I've learned that with my holder, it's about accepting these changes. It's accepting that this is what's coming to me and that they are gifts. They are not, I don't want to move into that scarcity mode, right? Because age is but a number. And if you know me, my age is seriously just a number. It's not how I feel inside, and it's not how I project myself. So I've learned all sorts of things about my haora because it's probably been the most challenging year for me in terms of my haora. But what has it been for you? What have you learned? Now, haora, just that kupu, is this beautiful whakapapa. Hau is the essence of who we are. Just like, you know, somebody like Che Wilson or Pai Kiriyama could give us a much deeper meaning, but the understanding that I have is that Hau is the essence of who we are, and Ora is like our well-being, our being. So, Michelle, I think what we will do is we will send them into breakout rooms. I know not everyone has their camera on, and kita pai, but I would encourage you to ask yourselves, we're going to send you into maybe 4. Yeah, 4 in a group. You'll get to know one another. Please spend some time getting to know one another. Try to keep it brief. Remember, those that are extroverts like myself, remember we have to share whānau, okay? And I'd like you to reflect on your haora for the past year. And you know what? Give yourself some kindness whānau, ka pai, and also think about what's perhaps one of your, I don't want to say goals or intentions, but what would you like to do for yourself in the next year? Me, I'd like to be more consistent. I've never liked lifting weights, but suddenly that's where I'm at. And so I'd like to be more consistent in doing that and getting strong within my muscle mass, but also really listening to my tinana when it needs rest, when it needs food, when it needs kai, and when it needs to just kia tau. So these are the things. Ka pai? So we're going to send you off, and I'm going to keep you there just a minute. I'm just going to check on my little schedule here so that I'm not being naughty, because Michelle might. We're going to send you into your room for a good, I reckon, we say 4 minutes each. That's 16 minutes. So that's at 10:46. I'm going to get you back. Now, what I'd like you to do when you're on your ropu is one person, when you come back in, is going to share a little bit about discussion from the ropu from your group. Ka pai? Hi, Anna. Great. All right. Michelle, thank you very much. And we'll see you back here at 10:46, whānau. Okay. I'm looking forward to hearing. I normally volunteer somebody. So that's what I call it. I call it volunteer. I can see people smiling. Who would like to put their hand up first to go first, or shall I just randomly volun aroha? And can I tell my whānau that are in the room, if no one does, one of you two will be volun aroha, okay? So is there anyone that would like to volun aroha themselves as the whai kōrero or the kai kōrero person for their rōpū? Okay, Chris.
I can
yes, let's go.
Kia ora te whānau. It's really lovely to be online with all of you. Thanks for taking the time and space, and especially a big shout out to my group for being so open and honest. It was really nice to be in that space. I'll start with myself. So in the last season, it's been a very big time of transition for me with mahi. I'd been with the organization for just 6 months, and 2 months in of my maternity role cover, I got asked to move into a different space when I finished that contract. So it's a brand new space for me. It's in the fundraising space. So that's been a big transition, being patient with myself, learning again, and accepting that I'm not going to just be able to sit in the seat and go. Also, my partner and I bought a house, so it's been very busy moving, trying to find the lay of the land, a new space, new practices, new routines, all that stuff. I think for the season ahead and for the year ahead, it's to have a bit more patience with myself. I hold myself to quite high regard. I know I need to be a bit more intentional with my reflection. So this is a good start. We also had from Sydney with us. She's had in the past season a few challenges with her sister in terms of her health. So she's one of her teachings has been just to nurture moments of clarity and to go at her sister's pace. What she wants to do for the season ahead is to create space for self-nurturing, so in an intentional manner. We had George join us from Otatahi Christchurch. He works in the Youth Social Services organisation, and the big challenge they had in the last season was that quite a lot of funding was pulled back. And in his fundraising role, he found that quite a big ask for him to support the organisation. He used the term the boiling frog. That's how he felt with his stress. So he's going to be more intentional about giving himself more space and perspective to continue to look after himself while carrying on supporting others. And lastly, we had Kamal, who's the founding president of the Nepalese Cultural Centre in New Zealand. They've been running some massive events. So last season, they ran their 8th multi-ethnic dance festival. Quite a lot of funding involved, quite a few ethnic groups involved. And they're coming up to the 9th festival this season. It sounds like he's very, very busy with that. So just spending a lot of time on that with his community, but also bringing a lot of people together. So yeah, kia ora. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. I just want to just pause for a moment before we move on to the next. So first of all, just a big mihi to your group and for the generosity of sharing. And it's very interesting because I'm hearing already, even though we're only still in February, that a lot of people are seeking space this year, because it's really, I think, easy for us to get caught up in the cacophony and the kind of hustle culture that we found ourselves in. And I can hear, patience in there and bringing people together for celebration. So, I think that it's easy. I was speaking yesterday at a workshop and I said, we can have 10 joyful harikwa moments happen to us throughout the day, and we'll have one little hiccup. And it's the hiccup that we tend to give our energy to and have our focus, when really we need to shift our energy to those harikwa moments that we enjoy, because they far outnumber the little hic you might have in your day. Yeah, so thank you for your sharing, and thank you to your rōpū. Now, who's up next? I'm waiting with anticipation. There's 7 groups. Let's go, whānau. That was Group Tuatahi. That was the first one.
I can go next if you like.
Beautiful, Ruth.
So I'm part of group 3, and we were Dana, Janelle, Claire, and me, 4 of us. And we talked about how life really is juggling a whole lot of different things for all of us, slightly different things, but a lot of overlapping similarities of things that we do, and juggling our mahi, sometimes study, sometimes often our whānau and our work colleagues, our clients, just everything. And it can sometimes get out of kilter. It can sometimes be running really smoothly and really well. And we just think, oh yeah, that's the way it is. But then when you look at it, there's things we do that make it go well. And we talked about exercise, we talked about movement and strength and things that you can do to build on that. Everyone had different things. Some talked about kapahaka, some talked about just getting out in nature, lifting weights, or other things that help us build those things. We talked about maybe getting up early in the morning, finding a time when we're uninterrupted to actually do mindful things and to clear our head and create space for the day as being good for our haurora. And we talked about how a lot of us are talking about and teaching or even training other people in what we do in our work. But we need to be also modeling it to others in our own lives, that this is what you do and this is me doing it, so that it actually is. And Janelle raised the word consistency, and we all agreed that that was huge, and we're all taking that away as something we're going to remember and build on, that you can do these things, but if you don't do them consistently, you're not going to get the lasting benefit. And we realized that a lot of what we do, we're prioritizing other people and other people's needs, and that's good. But if we do that at the expense of our own needs and we're looking after everyone else, we're going to get so drained and find ourselves running on empty, and then we're not any use to them or ourselves. So it was like, it's good to prioritize these things, and then everyone benefits from that. So the key word that we took out was consistency, and some of us were doing these things to a greater or lesser extent than others, but I think the goal is to move forward in the new year doing more of it, whatever works best for us, do more of it and doing it consistently.
Beautiful.
So that was us.
Beautiful. Well, again, a mihi to you, Ruth, for being the kaikōrero for your rōpū, and thank you to your rōpū for generosity of sharing. Again, we're just going to pause for a moment. Firstly, I just want to mihi to everyone that's on this call. Every single one of you serves community, serves hapori in some way or another. And you are in roles where you give to others, whether that's to the organisation you work with, to your hapori, to your whānau, whoever it may be. So a big mihi to each of you for the generosity that you give to others. In order to look after our haora, we must begin with ourselves. And we're always often looking for answers in other places. But sometimes the answers that we need to hear or know are within ourselves. We know what's good for us. We know what serves us best. So I just want to also ask you, so first of all, so much love from my heart to your heart for all that you do within the community, but also like some kindness to yourself. I agree. I think that kopu consistency is part of what I want to do this year, but it's okay every now and then to not be consistent and to have some kindness to ourselves. And I hear you when you say, you know, I'm juggling this and I'm juggling that, and the juggle of things. Okay? So I think that in all of this is also the opportunity to have some kindness. Ka pai? Yeah. And take the moments to be kind and take those moments to just pause for a moment. Because it would be easy for me to say, yep, thank you, Ruth, on to the next rōpū. But we're just going to pause after each group's kōrero to just do a bit of reflection for the entire rōpū, because I can sit here and tell you this and that and that and this one, but we can learn from one another also. And I also just want to pause and say that the taiao, and Ruth mentioned that with kapahaka, waiata, and you mentioned the taiao, the environment. Those are things that can, waiata music, that can really change the vibration of how we feel, can really change the modi of how we feel, and also going into the taiao or experiencing the taiao. Ka pai? Thank you so much, Ruth, and so thank you so much to you, Oropu. Group, next one up, please. Oh. Kia ora, Rangamarie. We look forward to hearing from you in your rōpū. Nau mahara mai. It's easy when you got a niece in the room. She's like, Auntie.
To delegate.
You can delegate to someone, but someone from your rōpū, please.
Ellie, oh gosh, you got it. Okay.
Do it, bro.
Do we tag team? We can tag team.
Yeah, we can tag team. We can tag team. You take
Okay. Okay. Well, the big first thing that came up for us was reconciliating how we operate and how we give and go, and in context with capitalism, because fuck capitalism. So sometimes just from our group of Ali, Jill, Adrian and I, we were talking about how we connect with oh my gosh, I'm going blank, I'm sorry. Ali, can you help me out, please?
Yeah, we were talking about just like the capitalism brainworms, and the way it makes you feel like, oh, more is better, and like more productive and stuff. But actually what that translates to is us just feeling like depleted and less present in everything that we're doing. And yeah, sometimes we were, it was really interesting actually, because there was kind of four of us all at like different stages of life, but really having like this really collective experience. And yeah, we sort of talked about how like feeling the need to secure our like place in the community or our like attachments to people could make us feel like we had to constantly be kind of giving at the expense of ourselves. And then we kind of reflected on how actually everyone just is valuable, and we don't necessarily have to like be proving our worth to each other. And that, we can actually do more, have like fuller, more present experiences doing less.
Love that. Love that.
Go, Ali.
Thank you, Eliana and Rangamari. I know it's natural for Eliana to lead. She's a leader within her beautiful organisation, and it's a big mihi to Rangamari, our niece. When we talk about recalibrate, when you talk about depleted and being less present, we have the wonderful opportunity within, and our tupuna, knew this from a Te Ao Māori perspective, that when we change seasons, it gives us enough time to reflect. And again, like understanding a little bit about the maramataka too, like the maramataka within each, from whiro to whiro, which is our months, if we're talking Gregorian calendar. But understanding the maramataka, that times of tamatea are often when we need to be a little bit more cautious, So a little bit more grounded, kind of kia tūpato, be careful. Then we have our tangaro phases where and I'm probably talking more from a personal perspective, where, can be really productive, and I know they're coming up, so I'm going to get stuff done. Try not to swear, by the way. And then, you have those kore phases, which is really about again, inner reflection and all those kind of planning, and you might host workshops during those phases. And we have all these beautiful moments within the maramataka, whether they be seasonal, te wā, or whether it be te rā every day, or whether it be monthly. So we have these opportunities. And when we're feeling less present, or when we're depleted and things like that, the maramataka is a really wonderful guide for us. But again, I encourage us to look to the taiao. And if you can't make the time to kind of, or you feel like you're time poor, then it's simply take your shoes off and plant your feet onto Papatūānuku, or taking a moment to just use what's already within us. You'll see me drinking water often. I drink water throughout many of my workshops, because water is a way to kind of constantly puru myself when I'm giving, and because I love to give. I will give to the cows come home, so it's a way of actually replenishing myself as we're having these conversations. So it's little things that you can do for yourself. Ka pai? And I've just got to say, I know that there's Tani in the room, and, I'm not trying to exclude you, the Tani being men, but as wahine, as women, we just tend to give so much of ourselves, like give to the nth until we're like, okay? So just having some mindfulness around that. Beautiful. Thank you to your rōpū for your generosity of sharing. And on to group. The next one, please. Ka pai, Holland. I've got Holland Gaston as your name. Is that your name?
Yes, my name is Holland.
No, my welcome, Holland.
Thank you. This has been so beneficial already, so thanks to everyone who shared. From our group, we had some really great connections with our mahi, but also, with our reflections. Some of our kind of main points were giving ourselves a break and focusing on what we can control, because we can only give what we have. And so I think, being intentional with that, it's echoing a lot of things that have already been said. But being intentional with what we do give, because sometimes you just have to let go and surrender, because there's only so much you can give. And I think through the past year, there's just the changing energy patterns and whatnot, acknowledging how that happens, and giving yourself kind of that grace, and finding that time to rest and recharge, and balancing that well. Those were some of our main little takeaways we all had to share. Really like the consistency, that word, how that's popped up a few times. I think that's something I'll definitely take with me. And I've been hearing the word so much recently. So I think, it's really neat that has come up so much today. So thank you.
Yeah. Kia ora. Kia ora. Thank you so much, Holland, to you and to your rōpū. Really interesting that actually it's come up in a couple of the rōpū, and that is around hononga, connection to one another. Because can I just say, whānau, that, walking past someone and giving them a smile, even if it's not returned, is a gift to that person and a gift to you. It costs us nothing. It is nothing. It's not that it's nothing. I mean that it costs us nothing to give you all smiles. Ka pai? And Holland, that word consistency, I'm like, he kupu Māori consistency. So if anyone on this call, because I haven't got time to go to my little reference, but what is the word that we would find? And is it, for me, I'm like, is consistency part of our tikanga? Tikanga being like our routine, if I put it into that kind of context. Hey, but again, just some gentleness to one another, to ourselves. Hey. And like, don't feel any kind of way because we decide to take a moment for ourselves. Yes, Holland.
Yeah, I think just adding to that, like consistency with giving yourself that space and grace too. It's not always just consistency of action and showing up and doing. It's also consistency of taking that time to breathe and to relax and to be outside and whatever it is for you. But
Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah, and that's what it is, because I'm an active relaxer. So, you may decide that you want to be active, and I find joy in getting dressed every day and putting on kakahu and doing my little fit things, like that's what brings me joy. So it's what brings you joy too. Remembering those harikwa moments that we have in our day. Kia ora. Thank you, Holland. The next rope, please. Rodney, which group were you part of, Rodney?
I can't remember the number, but happy to give a brief summary.
Yes.
So in terms of looking back, what we all faced a tough 2025 from a range of perspectives, some work, some family, some health, some other things. That was pretty consistent amongst all of us. And then in terms of what to do more of, there were four of us. So number one was listening more to self. Number two was nourishing myself more, which is pretty consistent with what the previous person just said, Holland. Third was cherish everything, even tricky stuff, with curiosity, which I thought was pretty cool. And the other one was being content in always being uncomfortable, living in a space between 5 different dimensions in society. So that's our summary.
Beautiful, Rodney. That's gorgeous. It goes back to that kupu that we were talking about, ata whakarongo, to listen with all ourselves, to listen with everything that is us. It's because it's easy within the cacophony or the noise of everything to kind of go, oh no. But I can tell you now that our tupuna send us tohu or signs all the time. And when we don't listen, oh man, do they give us a little kick up the nono, I tell you. It happens all the time, every time. If you go, oh no, and they're like, oh, boof, like a little, and that nourish and cherish ourselves. I love that. And there's this beautiful, in Te Ao Māori we have te kore, which is te kore. I'm going to use a personal example of te kore. Te kore, 2023 was a particularly difficult year where I felt like I had gumboots on, and I don't wear gumboots, by the way, even on the marae. You can all judge me for that. Anyway, and felt like I was wading through the mud. I was like, oh man, am I ever going to get out of this sludge? I just feel so despondent. But what I learned in te kore was the greatest things about myself, and also the greatest space of healing. And kore means nothingness, but actually it's the greatest space for me personally for healing and learning and growing. And then you move from te kore, and there's all different phases of te kore, into te pō. And te pō is darkness. But even in the night sky, what do we see? We see the stars, the stars of those that have been before us that are now risen into the sky. Their lights, their flickers of hope and glimmer. And right, okay, we've come from te kore, we're moving into te pō. And then there's a moment where, boom, you're in te ao marama. You're in the light. And the reality is of life, right, is that we go back and forth through those different phases and through those different stages. And again, all of those stages are around nourishing and cherishing ourselves. So ka pai, I love those words. Thank you so much, Rodney, to earn your to you and your group for your generosity of sharing. Next Ropu, please. We've got 2 more to go.
Speak.
Ka pai, Jan.
I've been waiting for someone else from our group to do it.
You.
I'm
It's
Peter.
you, Auntie Jan.
Jane's on. We were in group room 1, I think it was. Emily, Carol, Trish, and me. We were all expressing what an incredibly tough time it's been, in personal lives and in organisations, everywhere, whānau, everywhere. We are all suffering, I think. And we are really conscious of the need to find those little moments of doing things that we love to do, that we know are good for us. We talked about dance. We talked about participating in dance. For me, singing is very, very important, and not only singing but practicing singing as well. So going to choir, but actually allowing myself space to practice so that I can go to choir and know my notes. We talked about the need to move about, not just sit constantly at our desk or at our laptops or whatever. I talked about the fact that I'm getting sore eyes because I'm not bloody blinking enough, I'm told, when I'm staring at my screen. So we're so focused on doing what we do, giving to others in all sorts of capacities that we do, that we are depleting ourselves, and we absolutely must know what it is that each of us loves to do, what's good for us, and find a way to get it into our day. What have I missed, guys? Trish, Emily, Carol, have I missed something there? Where have you gone, team?
They're giving you the thumbs up, Jan.
Oh, I missed that. Thank you so much. That's lovely. Thanks, guys. And this is joyous to be online with you all. Thank you.
Oh, well, I just want to mihi to you, Jan, and to your ropu. And, waiata and kanikani, kanikani being dance and waiata being music, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And it can bring us so much joy and, creative outlets as well, And I think that, I do a little bit of systems change work. And one of the greatest things that we can do in order to change all the systems that we are a part of, which come from Westminster, kind of systems, not all, but many of them, is to actually, a great form of resistance, for want of a better word, of tino rangatiratanga, of mana motuhake, because that applies to all of us. And that is to find and be joyous in these moments when it feels so goddamn tough. To flip that dial of scarcity thinking and to move into abundance. And in those moments where we are challenged by scarcity, when we are challenged by those tough times, and look, it is tough being Māori in Aotearoa right now. I'm just going to call that out for what it is. And the greatest resistance is to be proud, is to stand up, and whoever we are, whatever our whakapapa, and to find joy. And in these times, there is something that we are meant to learn. And we are meant to, there's a gift in all this crap that's going on around us. There really is. It's just a little hard to see sometimes. Ka pai? But thank you. Thank you for your sharing, Jan. We've got one ropu to go. Who is that? Come on down.
I know who they are.
Tania, Juanita and Rachel, did you guys want to say something, or are you happy for me to sort of wrap up
We
our
attacking
kōrero?
Paula. Let's go. Come on down, Wahine Ma.
Okay. Tuatahi ake ai mihi kau ana ki taku hoa haere ko Tania, Rachel and Juanita for your wonderful shares in our little group, in our little wānanga this morning. I guess one of the main things that sort of sat with me in our overall kōrero was that word transition. And in some way, shape or form, all four of us experienced some form of loss, whether it was relationships, whether it was whānau, whether it was through our works. And what that meant, I think when we're sitting in that space of loss sometimes, and I agree to Hana when you talk about there's always that ngā heke, ngā piki me ngā heke of life, so the ups and downs of life, that we find a way to work through those challenges. When we all sat in this space of loss last year, we're definitely in that realm of te kore. So there's the potential that sits there for us, for the four of us, to actually move into a space of te pō. So starting to realize and sit in that space of transitioning from our point of loss, because we know that doesn't define us whānau, from that point of loss into that area where we're transitioning into finding new things, whether it was in the case of Juanita connecting to a kuki airani kapa, and for Tania it was moving into a rongoa space, which I thought was, it's beautiful things, right? It is sometimes through those tough challenges in life where we start to find those, where we start to grow and transition. And like I said to the ladies, it's not without a little bit of challenges in our life where we really start to experience the growth that matters to us, and whether or not. So, for example, Tania found rongoa, and it really, really resonated with her, and she was super excited, and it completely vibed with her. And it's, for her and her transition, it could be something that she wants to stick with forever and ever. Also, overall, it was awesome talking about it, and what I noticed is that the various managings, how we all managed to work with our losses, really focused on our different whare tapawha. So from our whānau, from our hinengaro, our tinana, and our wairua corners of our whare. So health is wealth, whānau. Love it. Mauri ora.
Mauri ora. Well, to all of you that have had loss, and I'm aware of Paula's loss, just big aroha. And I say that as I try to swallow back tears. So just, moi mai rā to all those that have passed on, and the loss of whether that be a relationship or whānau or whatever else it may be for you. It takes courage to move through loss. It takes bravery to move through loss, whatever that may be for you. And there are times when you just feel like, far out, am I going to get through this? And then, as you said, Paula, we come from te kore into te pō. And even in te pō, we have those stars in the sky that remind us that they are there, watching over us all the time, with us all the time. Again, some gentleness to one another. And there's so much I want to say right now. I'm feeling this overflow of aroha, because what it comes down to, what a personal whakaaro of mine, is that aroha's at the heart of everything, And when we talk about this place of mauri ora is when things come into, everything aligns. The truth is that, or the way that we find ourselves is that sometimes it goes like that, and then it goes like this, and then it goes like that. It's these many things come into play, and sometimes we need to go with it instead of resisting it. It's easier for us to resist it because it moves us into uncomfortable spaces, but from uncomfortable spaces comes great grace, and great mātauranga, great knowledge, will come with that. So I'm going to sing right now because there's a little whakataukī. And as I do these workshops, often Waiata will come to me. And I feel a little embarrassed because Te whānau are Apanui online, right? And if you've ever seen them perform, they are the bestest. Well, they're not the bestest because that's, open for discussion and debate right across the motu, right? But when there are times when I find that I am struggling, there's this beautiful whakataukī. Our nephew Stan sings this a whole lot better than me. But he kakanoa hau, I rue a mai, I rangi a te a. 'Cause I can never be lost. I am a seed, born of greatness, descended from a line of chiefs. Because I look at all our beautiful kanohi, they're present today, and we all carry whakapapa from all across the world. But we are here today because we descend from lines of chiefs that have come before us. Right? That is why we are here. Right? To continue the legacy of our tupuna and to pass that legacy to the tamariki, to our rangatahi, to our babies, to our future generations. Right? He tātou, you, me, all of us. And Paula made references to Te Whare Tapawha. Te Whare Tapawha, we know every single, Te Whare Tapawha, it kind of feels like it's got these different po, which it does. The truth be known is that everything is interconnected. There is no separation, right? It's all tātou, you, me, all of us. Ka pai? Now, someone mentioned the kani. So we're going to do a little kani right now to end our session. We're going to just play it for a little bit, okay? Because like I said, we used to be a Zumba instructor. We want a bit of joy in our world. And if for those of you that might be challenged within the realms of rhythm, ka pai, you just move your body. Once upon a time, I did this Waiata to a massive group, hundreds of people. And this one lady didn't get up, but she kept tapping her foot. So if that's all you want to do, because that's all you're feeling. But we're going to end this with a kani. Michelle's got a little something, so we might just go 1 or 2 minutes over time, okay? But let's do this, Michelle. We're gonna do Michael Jackson. Now, please tell me you all know who Michael Jackson is. We felt that it was a multi-generational kind of multicultural. Everyone knows who the man is. So, because I'm thinking about Holland. Does she know who Michael Jackson is? Do you know? Yeah, good. Okay. Ka pai. So let's play that. Let's play it, Michelle. We're going to play it for like a couple of minutes, probably not the whole thing. And yeah. Ka pai. Let's go. When you're ready, Michelle.
Yes, but please tell me this is going to work, everyone.
Okay, and if it doesn't, well, it's okay.
Sunshine, don't blame it on the moonlight, don't blame it on the good times, blame it on the boogie. Sunshine, don't blame it on the moonlight, I don't blame it on the good times, blame it on the boogie. That nasty boogie, thank you, Michelle. Somebody has drugged me, spellbound rhythm gets me.
Now, if you didn't dance, you definitely were smiling, that's for damn sure. Michelle, I'm just going to hand it over to you before I close. I need to meet. I'm going to hand it over to you. You talk and then we'll come back. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Your generous sharing has been incredible. I'm going to send out a little survey after this, which we'd love you to fill in. It just helps us know what kind of stuff to program for the coming year. And I'll include a link to one of Tuihana's sessions on Te Whare Tapawha in case that piqued your interest to want to read more. But that's all from me. Thank you.
Beautiful. And I've never been called Koka before, so I'm feeling a bit like, holy crap, I'm Rooney. Hey? Oh, geez, Koka. So I'm not your conventional workshop facilitator whānau. I do things a bit different. I hope that you have enjoyed today. I'm going to sing this beautiful waiata, which is around aroha, because a lot of you today, when you fed back, you talked around or about many ebbs and flow of life, and that's what it is, whānau, ka pai. Remember kindness to yourself. Remember there's many things. We're very blessed in Aotearoa to have so much joy around us and so many things like the taiao, like water. So we are abundant, ka pai. And I know that things are tough, whānau. As a small business owner, it's been such a challenging year. So, but I'm going to sing you this song. Ko te aroha no he wai, he pupu ake ana, he awa he ma puna mai ana, I roto I te whatu manawa. Ko tōna mata puna he honu, haina ia ka re ano. Ko tōna mata puna he honu, haina ia ka re ano. He tai timu, he tai pari, he tai ope, he tai roa, he tai nui. He tai nui. He tai nui. Now that song speaks about the ebbs and flow of aroha. I wish you all the very, very best. I hope to see all your beautiful faces again. Kia whiti whakamaua, kia tina, tina. Haumie huie.
Tākie.
Please, as you leave, one word in the chat to describe how you're leaving today. Ngā mihi, so much love from my whānau to all of you, from my heart to all of you. Thank you so much for showing up, not only for the session, but for yourself. And continue to do that, finally. Thank you, thank you.